Hey guys, it's Jackie from the Financial Literacy Tribe coming at you with a brand new video. So for today, I really wanted to share with you guys, because sharing is caring. I really wanted to share what have been the top five financial literary resources that have really been super transformative and helpful for me. So as you guys know, I've been on my financial journey now for about 2 years. And these 5 books, I have to say, out of all the books that I've read regarding personal finance, these 5 have been, I think, the most impactful for me. So I just thought it was really important to share with you guys so that you guys can read them on your spare time. And if you like these books, or if you have read them, or if you're going to read them, or if you're in the process of reading them, I would love to hear about it in the comments. So make sure you let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget, click the like button and hit subscribe so that you can be notified whenever I have a new video up, which is going to be about twice a week, every Monday, every Friday. What makes Mondays better? A video. What makes Fridays better? A video. And pizza. Pizza on Fridays. Book number 1. The Richest Man in Babylon by George Samuel Clayson. This book was one that has been highly recommended as being a really good book in terms of fundamentals when it comes to personal finance. So if you're somebody like me who maybe grew up in a family where like money wasn't a big deal, maybe your family lived paycheck to paycheck the way that mine did, maybe like there wasn't a lot of like money fundamentals that were like taught to you early on, this is the perfect book for you. It's very short. You can definitely get through it. Even I'm a super slow reader and I got through it in like 3 days. So you can definitely probably do better than me. It's kind of written in like, if I'm being honest, like one of the negatives is like it's kind of like old-timey English because it's a really old book. Like it was written back in like the 1920s, which I think is amazing. A, because it's like, wow, I don't think I've ever read anything that old other than like, I don't know, the Bible or something like that. But the second thing is that I thought it was so interesting that something that was written back almost 100 years ago. It was written in like 1926. So almost 100 years ago. And all of the like cornerstones, all of the like gems in terms of knowledge that this guy is like talking about still applies today. Like that's how you know that a fundamental piece of information, like it's gonna last forever. Because stuff that this guy was teaching back in the 1920s is still applicable to your life today. So definitely read it. It's super cheap. I bought it for like $5 on Amazon or something like that. And like I said, just like a lot of really good fundamental pieces of information. He's big on savings. He teaches you exactly like how to save, why it's important, about investing. He talks about the principles of investing. So highly recommended. Check it out. The Richest Man in Babylon. Number 2 on my list of recommended literary resources is going to be a book called DIY Money by Quint Tatro. Now, he isn't like the most well-known author, but I know him from his podcast. He has a podcast of the same name. It's called DIY Money. And honestly, like he brings so much energy, so much knowledge to the world of personal finance. His podcast is great, so definitely check that out. And definitely read the book. It's also a short read, similar to The Richest Man in Babylon, but it has a lot of really good principles in it. It's basically the core principles that he himself follows in terms of finance, saving. He has very strong views in terms of like how you should kind of blend your finances together once you become married or engaged to a person. So he has very strong opinions, but I think it's all really good, solid financial advice. So definitely check out his book. Also, like I mentioned, a short read. I think it's like 77 pages in total. So it's not long at all. It's not expensive at all. Definitely a recommended book. Book number 3, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay, guys. Full disclosure, I love Robert Kiyosaki, okay? I have read pretty much all of his books. I listen to his podcast, and I have decided that Robert Kiyosaki reminds me of like the cranky, cantankerous grandpa at everybody's cookouts. Like, he just, like, will rant and rave about how it's the end of the world and apocalypse is coming, the financial apocalypse is coming, and the financial collapse is coming, and like hide gold in your mattresses, like invest in gold, like don't put it in the stock market, like you're an idiot. Like, he is so interesting to listen to and so interesting to read. I know that there's a lot of people that feel like his works are controversial because of that. Just as like a brief synopsis, and definitely go out and like read the book because it'll give you more information. But just briefly, like, he isn't a big advocate of like going to college. He doesn't think that the education here in the United States is really worthwhile. He has a lot of grievances with the facts that finances are not taught in schools, which actually is a very good question. Like, why isn't finance taught in schools? But yeah, he has like a lot of interesting views. Like, your house, your personal house, it's not an asset. You're stupid if you're just like sticking money in a savings account. So he has like a lot of like interesting points of view. I would say definitely read it, and kind of pick through, and hold on to the things that really resonate with you. I don't know if I necessarily would follow all of his principles necessarily, but he definitely has some gems in there. I think the thing that I like the most about that particular book, he is very big on entrepreneurship and how it's like super smart to like start your own business. The other thing too that I really like about Robert Kiyosaki that I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for is he's a big advocate of like mistakes are okay. You don't have to freak out every single time you fail. Failure is a part of life, it's a part of growth. And he really, really hits on that point a lot. And I really appreciated that because I feel like nowadays, the way that stuff is, like, everybody's afraid to fail, right? Like, first of all, everything is on social media, everything is on the web, everybody can see what you're doing and what you're up to. And, like, we're so scared to sit there and be like, oh, I made a mistake, or this thing didn't work out, or whatever. And he's very big on, like, listen, that's a part of business. You're never going to be successful unless you do, like, attempt, try to do things, and you're going to fail. Surprise, surprise. But that's the only way to success. So I really like that about him, and I do recommend reading at least Rich Dad Poor Dad because it gives a really good view. Number 4 on our list of literary resources is going to be the infamous, the well-known Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. So this obviously is a super popular book. He's a super popular guy. If you have not heard of him or you're not familiar with him, I personally love Dave Ramsey, and I think that he's such a resource specifically if you have debt. So if you're the type of person who has any type of credit card debt, if you have student loan debt, if you have a really high mortgage, if you're in a lot of debt and that's your issue in terms of your personal finance journey, then definitely check him out. The one thing that I will say is that he has very strong opinions about a lot of different things, and he is definitely a no-nonsense kind of a guy. But in general, definitely a great resource, specifically if you're in debt and you're looking to get out of debt. I would highly recommend it. Oh, the other note on Dave Ramsey is like, so I have the book, obviously, like I have a hard copy of it, but I tried originally to listen to him on audiobook, and he like narrates his own audiobooks, and I was not a fan. I couldn't like listen to it because I kept feeling like I was in the principal's office. Like, I felt like I was like in trouble. Like, he has a very like, not angry, just like kind of a cranky old Southern man quality to his voice. Amazing content, amazing mind. I love all of his insights, and I love his books, and I love his resources. And even his podcast is like really entertaining if you ever like get a chance to watch that. It's on YouTube. But yeah, audiobook, Dave, like, get somebody else to do it. Like, pay somebody, get your daughter to do it. Like, somebody that has like a more pleasant voice, because I definitely felt like I was in trouble in the principal's office as I was listening to this audiobook. It was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. But still, worth a read. So the last book on my 5 favorite literary resources for personal finance is going to be Money Rules by Gail Vaz-Oxlade. Now, I have talked about Gail Vaz-Oxlade in prior videos because I'm obsessed with her. Just as a recap, she had a show back in like the early 2000s on TLC. It was called Till Death Do Us Part, and I was like obsessed with that show. So I love her. I will say that a lot of her values, a lot of her core values and opinions are very similar to those of Dave Ramsey, but I still think the book is worth a read. The other one too is, if you didn't want to read this one, Debt Free Forever is another really good one by her. But definitely check out her books because they have a really good insight in terms of how it is that you can live your life in a way that you're not going to get caught up in the rat race, caught up in consumerism, feel the need to buy everything. She gives really good fundamental principles on how to live your life in a way that in the long term, you're going to be financially successful and not get yourself into the messes of debt and consumer debt specifically, and high interest debt. Okay guys, just as a quick recap, my top 5 personal finance books are gonna be The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason, DIY Money by Quint Tatro, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, and Money Rules by Gail Vaz-Oxlade. And I have linked all of these books down below in the description box for you. Okay guys, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you enjoyed our video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button and hit subscribe. Check out my blog when you get a chance. It is focusedfrugalfab.com because there's a lot of good resources on that blog, so feel free to check that out. And I will see you soon. See you soon. See you soon. Bye.